Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattox, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
Yesterday, we talked about what gratitude does for your performance, for your team, for the people around you. Today, I want to get into what gratitude actually is, because I think most people are only aware of kind of one version of it. At least when we say gratitude, they think of one side of the coin, as it were, or one end of the spectrum. But on the, let's say, the shallower end of the spectrum, and not that shallower is good or bad, it's just maybe the place you have to start. At one end of the spectrum is what I would call appreciation. It's what most people are familiar with. It's that outside in kind of feeling where you notice something in your environment. You see a good piece of work that someone did. You had a conversation that goes somewhere useful. You see something on the road and you, wow, that's beautiful. Or you get this just the right moment where it's, a light breeze or just the right temperature in your tea or coffee. You register at that moment, like, this is good. I appreciate this. I like it. That's the kind of prompt that we're talking about. That's an appreciation sort of prompt that your body and your mind create for you when the environment is in some way pleasing. The interoceptive sort of language here, that feeling that's making its way, from the outside when something good happens through the inside to a lived experience of appreciation, is kind of the way the early parts of the gratitude process work. The appreciation kind of thing is something that you can do and cultivate on a daily basis. It's something on any given day, like a Tuesday, you can, without going through a ritual or without having done anything in particular, you can notice these things in your day. And as you start to build that sensitivity, that awareness, you can move to higher levels of gratitude. So appreciation is really, just like we talked about last week with the minimum viable environment for work as the floor of work that you need to have before you can start. Appreciation starts to become the minimum sort of viable conditions for gratitude to the deeper levels of gratitude to emerge. It's something that you kind of can't skip, because the more you train that sensitivity, that awareness, that appreciation, the more frequently you can access the higher levels of gratitude and what that really kind of feels like. But let's stay focused on appreciation. It's a process that is, strangely enough, repeatable, and you can cultivate this awareness as you go. You don't have to develop a complicated journaling process or some sort of meditation practice per se, although I would recommend all of those things. What it does take is a conscious intention to take a moment of time, to carve out a little piece of time in any given day or any given process or cycle to increase your noticing, to increase the things that you are looking for, your sensitivities and awareness, to, again, cultivate that sense of appreciation. When I say this is harder to do, cutting time out is one thing, right? So you can say, okay, well, I'm going to take 5 minutes at the end of this hour and I'm going to think about this and see what happens. When we are going through our everyday life, however, it's very common that your only sort of lens is that gap analysis that we kind of talked about a little bit yesterday, where you're looking for what's missing or what's broken, or what you need to fix or repair or mend or in some way bring back to whole. What we don't notice is the kinds of things that are already doing exactly what they're supposed to. They're already delivering the results that they're supposed to have. That bias is a negativity bias. It's this sort of mental frame of mind that you're running because that's largely how people operate in general. All of the work is usually in your everyday life is usually is designed essentially to close these gaps, to identify an ideal state and close it. And in that process, we lose the sensitivity, or we push away maybe that awareness of what is really also working well and doing the job. This is a subtle note to your IT guys in the world. No one calls them up on a regular day when the computer's working just fine. This is kind of a challenge when you start to really begin to develop your sense of appreciation. You need to take that time and flip that mental script to make it work. So today's challenge is simple. At some point today, stop what you're doing and notice one thing that's working. You don't have to write it down. You don't have to do anything. Just start the noticing process. That's the beginning of that minimum viable awareness that you can use to begin the appreciation process, which leads to what we'll talk about more tomorrow, which is really kind of a deeper version of gratitude.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at amasonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.